Hi everyone. What I'm filling out today is called the storytelling arc. We're going to use this later this week as we write our own stories, okay? Which is the personal narrative. So, what I'm going through right now, here it is. You might be familiar with this, you might not. You can follow along with me as I go. Either way, I invite you to download this document off of Google Classroom and fill it in with me, okay? So, at some point, fill this in for yourself because you'll use this later. So, I'm assuming many of you have been watching a lot of movies, maybe you're reading a lot of books over this break, and you might have noticed some of these movies or TV shows all follow a similar pattern, and that is not by mistake. The pattern that a lot of American TV shows or movies follow is called the storytelling arc. Okay, we love this here in the USA. We are a big storytelling arc family here. Okay, so I'm going to go through the different elements of the storytelling arc with you today. And basically, I'm just going to kind of jot down little notes on my screen, kind of going over what it is. And I'll also give you an example of this with a story I just made up. Okay? So, if you want to follow with me and just kind of jot down some of the notes I write, that would be A-okay. All right, so with every story, we always begin with the exposition. All right, something called the exposition. So, really, what the exposition is, it covers time, covers the place, you get the setting. What I like to say about the exposition, you get to meet the character or the protagonist in their ordinary life, right? Like this is just kind of, the exposition is all about the lay of the land, okay? You're getting the scene, they're setting the scene for you, you're kind of getting to know John, all right? We're going to meet John today. John is a freshman in high school, and he's sitting in Spanish class, and he's bored. All right, that's John. So John is in Spanish class. He's bored. You might know other things about him, like he's never had a girlfriend. He hates school. He just wants to be with his friends. All these things about John. Okay. So the exposition really is just the lay of the land. Shortly after we get the lay of the land, though, we're always introduced to conflict. Okay. Now I said the word conflict. Conflict can be good or it could be bad. But really what conflict is it's taking you from this ordinary life and it's introducing a major change. Okay, conflict is introducing a major change. So, John is in Spanish class and he's really bored and he just wants to get out of Spanish class when a very pretty transfer student comes in and sits next to him and his heart is pumping, right? Conflict, his heart's pumping. He wants to introduce himself. Conflict, okay? Now John has his eyes on this pretty transfer student and he wants to meet her. Conflict is introduced. There's a major change to the story. It's not just about John wanting to hang out with his friends anymore. All right, so what's going to happen? What's going to happen between John and this new transfer student? What's going to happen? That is where our conflict leads us to really the bulk of the story, which is rising action, okay? So your rising action consists of a lot of mini events, right? Like a lot of mini events, you could think of them as like twists and turns. But these take up the bulk of the story, okay? Take up the bulk of the story. Sometimes they add in suspense, right? Like maybe John goes to say hi to her and he trips on the way. Okay, well he goes to sit by her in the lunchroom and he drops his tray of food. Or he really wants to talk to her and then he misses his opportunity. Like the events, they just keep coming, right? Like these events keep happening and they build suspense. That's why this arc is going up. They build suspense. And really what all these mini events lead to, all that rising action leads to, is the climax. The big moment, right? The big moment that everyone is waiting for. So maybe John finally asks her to the dance. Okay, he asks her to the dance. Woohoo! He did something. The big moment, he finally asks her, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And it's what you've been waiting for. The climax is kind of what satisfies your audience. Okay? In every single movie, it's like, oh, is this gonna happen? Is it not gonna happen? The climax is when it's that moment of the most suspense. It's the most exciting. Okay? So he finally asked her to the dance, and she says yes. All right? She said yes. Which leads us to then the falling action. Okay? So falling action, it's kind of those unanswered obstacles. Unanswered obstacles. Will her parents say yes? Will he go through with it? Will she go through with it? Are they actually going to have fun? Does she really like him, or did she just say yes out of pity? Like the unanswered obstacles, they kind of get answered here. Her parents are okay with it. He's really nervous, but she's going to go through with it. She's going to go to the dance with him, which then leads us to the resolution. Okay, this is really the ending. In America, we love a happy ending, but it doesn't always have to be a happy or a bad ending. Maybe it's kind of tricky, right? Like maybe it's an unanswered ending and you have to make up your own ending for yourself. But the resolution, our falling action, then leads us to the resolution. So for the sake of this one, John and the pretty transfer student in Spanish had a great time at the dance, okay? That's the happy ending, and they got ice cream afterwards, right? So this is one story. You get the exposition, you get the rising action, the climax, the most exciting part. Some questions are answered, and then it ends. You'll notice, though, and something I want to point out is that over here, our resolution is higher than our exposition. And that's because the thought process is that this character has gone through this journey. And at the end of the journey, they've learned more or they've grown than who they were back here, okay? So the thought process is this character went on this big journey, and when they end up at the resolution, they know much more than they did back there. All right? So I apologize for all the twists and turns and the mess on this sheet. Again, for some of you, this is probably review. If not, kind of listen to my voice again, rewatch this. I can explain it later today as well. But you will be filling out a storytelling arc as well. You won't be making it today, we'll be making it later, okay? So just kind of get the lay of the land and get any questions prepared for our meeting later today.